Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. We are so excited that you're here in this episode. You're going to discover the secret of becoming an abundance ambassador. And if you miss this show, you're never going to know. So stick around. It's time to wake up the inner giant. Woo! Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. I'm Ryan Morris, co-creator of Wake Up with Giants TV and a Tribe of Giants, and a few other little things that we got running and going, but we're going to share those later. You can go to giantsandsmalls.com to find all the cool things that we got going on. But today, we've got an amazing guest, Mr. Nicholas T. Smith. And I should introduce Nicholas T. Smith because he is the author of The Giants and the Smalls and the host of the show. I mean, that was a way to introduce him.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, here's Nick.
Who's the guy in the corner?
That's awesome.
I feel like Horton hears a who. We are here. We are here.
Nick is here, and he is so excited. We're both excited.
Yeah.
We've had our caffeine-ish. And the show's going to be amazing.
We've got an incredible guest. So Elaine Starling, aptly known as the Abundance Ambassador. She's an accomplished TEDx speaker, international author. Now, I want to highlight here on the TEDx talk, over 300,000 views and on her way to get 10 million views. That's her target. So we want to help her with that. So go find her video and watch it. She's an international author, entrepreneur, and your guide to achieving spiritual and financial abundance. So with her groundbreaking podcast and video show, The Abundance Journey, she's been inspiring and empowering individuals globally. So her spiritual awakening has not just transformed her life, but also the lives of many who have discovered their inner divine connection under her influence. Today, she's going to dive into her unique Activate Abundance process, an amalgamation of potent business strategies, personal growth tools, and spiritual wisdom. So as she leads us through her program, so we'll do that in conversation, be prepared to unlock an abundant life that you've always yearned for. Elaine, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a blast. And I love these kinds of dynamic conversations because life is abundance. Yeah. Everything you experience in your life is designed to be abundance. And it's up to us to choose it and notice it and welcome it. So thank you. Thanks for having me. This is going to be great.
Now, were you always thinking this way? Were you born and you're like, holy crap, I'm abundant?
Oh no. No, I was running a business and really struggling with it. And on my birthday in early December, I told my husband, I feel guilty for wanting more, but I have no idea what to do about my business. And I'm so sick of struggling, trying to figure it out. I'm just going to stop thrashing and accept the status quo because so many areas of my life are wonderful. I'm just going to give it up and just accept what is. And then a month later, on New Year's Day, 2005, I was blessed to have a stroke. Oh. At age 43, nothing wrong with me. I had a stroke. And I say blessed because during my stroke, I got to have a conversation with our higher power. And I got a complete download about how everything works, why we're alive, what we can do to live our best lives, and what happens next after this life. And I always tell people, don't worry about that part. It's actually a graduation. It's not an ending. So it was pretty amazing to have this unusual experience when I didn't woo, let alone woo before my stroke. And now all of a sudden it's like this total indoctrination. And I had no idea. It's like getting to see behind the curtain. Yeah. And you're like, really? That's what's going on here? You gotta be kidding me. Yeah. And then I was told I had to share it with other people. So
now it's a woo.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of a wow.
Yeah,
it's more of a wow than a woo. Yeah.
And a little woohoo. right?
Yeah, lots of woohoo.
Well, let's talk about abundance, because we usually go through our first 6 journeys. Our root journeys are all about the internal work, which is that awakening and that gentle awareness, the gratitude, the grieving, all the stuff that we need to do to return to empowerment, to loving ourselves. But from there, it moves into the growth journeys. And I think in this conversation, we're going to skip the first 6 journeys and go into the next 5 growth journeys. So just to give you a sense of what we talk about, and I'd love to hear your take on this. We move people into uncertainty. Most people hate uncertainty. They want to know what's going to happen next, yet they're living in uncertainty anyway. They just don't think they are. So they kind of convince themselves that they're certain about the future, but it hasn't happened yet. So we talk about the importance of embracing what hasn't happened and the possibility and the unknown. And then we move into abundance, which, in recognizing what abundance is, they can start to transform what is into what they have in mind. And that's where vision and surrender and nurture all come in. And so I would love, as you go through your process, like, how do you get people to, like Wayne Dyer says, tune into abundance? Or maybe you have a different version of that.
I love where you're going, and I love your program. And we talk about something similar, but in slightly different terms.
Yeah.
So if you watch my TEDx talk called Abundance is a Choice, I talk about the 2 things that you control that really creates an abundance mindset and allows you to welcome abundance into your life. And the first thing is your intention. It's how you want to feel. It's what you want to create in the world and how you want to empower those who are on the journey with you. So that's your intention. That's the starting point. And then it goes to your attention, what you put your focus on. And it can either be what's working or what's not working. And paying attention to what is working is definitely the best way to go. Now, with your intention, there are 2 extremes. One is, I got to be in total control. We were just talking about uncertainty, right?
Yeah.
And people really stress out about, but I think life works like this. No, really, it's supposed to be just like this. And then it turns out, well, it's a little more like that.
Yeah, I've yet to see it go the way I've imagined it. It's like, holy crap, dude, this is totally different.
No. And so rather than stressing out over a lack of control, what if you had total freedom and flexibility to handle whatever came up? And you were confident in your skills and your abilities and the resources that you have around you, that you can tap into experts and you can find great books and courses that can guide you where you want to go. Then you don't have to stress out about it. Whatever happens turns into a blessing.
Can we nerd out on a couple of words here that you mentioned?
Go for it.
So intention, attention, they come from the Latin tendere or intendere, which is to stretch. It's like a tendon, right? So there's stretching. There's an internal stretch that you're talking about. There's an external stretch, the attention that you give to something, the tending to. Entertainment is actually a word that's between stretches. And so it's, this idea of entertainment or attention, intention, tending to, it's constant stretching and growth, right? Our intention is to grow. So
that's kind of why you're here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, one of the key messages that I received during my stroke is that love is the blood of the divine. Love is the blood of the divine. So if you think about, what does blood do? Blood brings in nourishment. Blood rejuvenates and replenishes your body. It also takes all the waste products away. It cleans out all the stuff that isn't needed. And the way it was explained to me is that everything is love. Everything is love. Everything contains the divine, and everything is love. So how do you expand the divine if everything's already love? You create human beings who don't think everything is love, who see disasters, who get pissed off because something didn't happen right? Yeah. We experience the contrast, and that contrast is deliberate. We want to experience contrast because, in your words, it forces us to grow. We have a choice. We can choose to grow into abundance, or we can take our ball and go home and try to be in control of everything. It doesn't work.
Yeah. I have a stack of balls in here. Like,
don't we all? Yes.
He took all my balls.
Yeah. So the pushing to grow. there is a lot of unknown. You don't know where you're going to be planted. You come into this world and you're planted wherever you're planted, right? You go into a family or culture, society, nationality, and you didn't choose that coming in. And you become fully adaptable to that. You're equipped with the adaptability to that environment so that you can adjust and assimilate into it, right? And then we start to think that's us. We start to think this is who I am. And when I hear you talk about intention, I think, here's what comes to mind is Viktor Frankl, when he talks about man's search for meaning, is not finding meaning, it's giving meaning to life.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Same with that intention, right? Or that attention. You get to choose what it is and what you give it to. Is that accurate?
That's totally accurate. And I had a great experience earlier this week that really brought it home for me. So I was doing some errands and I was backing my truck out of the parking space, and I'm not real great with spatial awareness. So I was a little concerned that I didn't have enough room to turn and all this. And I saw a guy out of the corner of my eye who was racing through this parking lot, going way too fast. And all of a sudden I hear this honk. And my immediate knee-jerk human response is, what a jerk. He's going way too fast through this parking lot. When I learned how to drive, if you saw somebody with their reverse lights on, you stopped way back, you waved them out, you gave them plenty of room, and you smiled and wished them a good day. And we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
No. And sadly, we don't do that anymore in California anyway. And so that was my knee-jerk response. And then I thought, wait a minute, what if I was about to hit something? And this guy did not have time to jump out of his car, run to my door, knock on the window and say, hey, lady, you be careful. He was generous enough to hit the horn, and I stopped immediately, and I was able to get out of my parking space. So that was actually a gesture of love. And I'm the one who determines when I'm receiving love or not.
Yeah, wow.
I had that choice in that moment. And it was just a very clear message from the divine. Are you choosing love from everything that you experience in this moment? It's supposed to be love. Are you welcoming it as love, which it is?
Okay, I want to play with something here. So if we're surrounded by love, okay, we're swimming in abundance.
Yes.
And I think it was Byron Katie that said that if you think the problem is out there, if you think it's somebody else, then you're forever the victim, right? You're suffering in paradise is what she called it. So I want to play with the idea of suffering in paradise. When you talk about choice, it's our ability to see things. And if abundance is already surrounding us, so I have this view that abundance is already here. We didn't have to create our bodies so that we could use them. They were already put together. We just get to use them. We didn't have to create oxygen. We didn't have to create the materials, any of it. It was already there. It's just in a form, kind of like the law of thermodynamics, that energy isn't created or destroyed. It's only transformed. Abundance is the same idea. It's not created or destroyed. It's already there, but your inability to see it means you're forever suffering in paradise. You're choosing not to see the abundance that surrounds you, and therefore you don't see abundance.
Yes.
Is that accurate? And do you have a different view?
No, that is totally accurate. And I actually have a story that I want to share with you very briefly that kind of brings it home, because our words that we use have incredible power, and we don't realize how we're blocking abundance or letting it in. And so it was incredible. My stroke, I have never felt such intense love in my life. And I've been blessed to be married for 43 years, but I have never experienced such intense, deep, rich, amazing love. And so I came out of my stroke with no damage whatsoever. Turns out when the divine wants to have a conversation with you, you get to have a conversation, And so I come out of this stroke and I'm like, wow, that was freaking awesome. I want like a tap that I could turn on so I can get that kind of love, that sensation of all-encompassing love whenever I want. How do I get some of that? And so I started researching all the people who were in this space, because I hadn't really been in this alternative thinking kind of space. And everybody said, allow. You just have to allow this divine guidance in. You have to allow yourself to receive. Allow. Well, I was allowing my little heart out. And every once in a while, I get a download, but it was a lot closer to a drippy watering can than Niagara Falls, which was what I had experienced. And I was like, bring on the Niagara Falls, hold the stroke. And I got this immediate download. What is the image that comes to mind when you think of the word allow? And immediately I saw myself behind a door with a chain on the door, and I'm peeking out the door at the divine, and I'm terrified because I can't control it. I don't know what to expect. I don't know where this is going to go. Oh my gosh, I want to be able to slam that door shut at a moment's notice. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So allow, for me, everybody uses words differently. For me, the word allow is a mind-based word, and it's all about control. So that's not the kind of relationship I want with the divine. I want something much more open and loving. And I really had to think about it. And I realized that my word is welcoming. I welcome the divine. I welcome abundance. I welcome collaboration. I welcome everything that I want in my life. And that makes all the difference in the world. Welcoming changed everything.
Yeah. I just pictured somebody coming to the door. We have people that go around and knock selling their religion, and you get to choose whether you welcome them in or not. And, or anything, it could be a car salesman or anything else. You get to decide who comes into your space or not. And you open that door and you're like, do I want them to come in or do I not? And then you choose, like, you could welcome them in or you could close the door. But the thing that keeps you from opening the door or closing it is that ideal, right? You think you know how it should go and you won't let go of that. So you think they shouldn't be there. You think they should be there. You think it should go this way. You think it shouldn't go this way. When I did finance with General RV, I was a finance manager there. There was a customer that came in and they said, yeah, we'd love to buy an RV. We have 800 credit scores. We have plenty of money, all these things. And I said, would you like me to help you with your financing? And they said, no, we've got it arranged. So they had their own bank. Well, their bank turned them down. And I had access to over 80 banks. And I said, would you like me to try one of our banks? I know we can get this done. And they said, no, it's not meant to be. Our way didn't work. We just can't have our dream. And they backed out of their dream, right? And all of these options were in front of them. There were plenty of ways for them to create this. And because their way didn't work, because they wouldn't welcome or allow or open up to something outside of their ideal, their dream was shut down by them, right? By them.
Yeah, that's so sad because so many people do that. They think they have to be in control. They have to be in charge of everything. And I really encourage people to focus on their energy and how they feel and how they're showing up. I call it, yeah, baby energy. It's when you show up and you're going to have fun and you don't know what's going to happen and you don't care because it's going to be great, whatever it turns out to be. You know, you're capable and resourceful. You can handle whatever the problem is. In fact, you get to the point where you like really juicy, thick, rich problems that you can sink your teeth into because it's a whole lot more fun. It's a whole lot more interesting and engaging. And when you show up with that, yeah, let's do this, it's engaging, it's compelling, it's magnetic, and people want to collaborate with you.
Okay, so what if you're not? Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
That's where I was going to say the same thing. Like, I think, like, okay, so there's like the story of like
tethered by the mind.
There's a baby that has its hand in a jar. This is the same with like a monkey that grabs a piece of fruit inside of a jar. They won't let go. We're neck deep in the crap and stuff's coming at us. And we're like, I got to hold on. And you're holding on. This baby's holding on to a penny inside the jar. And then the young toddler. And then the dad says, hey, I'll give you $1 if you let go. And then oh, okay, that's better than a penny. Let's go with the penny. But if you can't see the dollar, how do you get there?
Yeah, that's a challenge for a lot of people. And part of it is understanding that there's a whole lot more out there for you that you could never have anticipated on your own. You just don't know where the situation is going to take you. You know who you are and you can control yourself, but you don't control the situation. So there are 5 steps to activate abundance. And the first one is always gratitude. Gratitude is the acorn to your oak, and you can be grateful for all kinds of things. I've had a really bad cold in the past where I couldn't breathe through my nose. I couldn't taste anything. It was really hard to sleep. And I can think, wow, I don't have a cold right now. My allergies aren't acting up. This is freaking awesome. It doesn't even have to have anything to do with the collaboration that we're having right now, but there's lots of things in my life I can be grateful for. And it starts to roll from there. But how you show up, and when you show up in a space of gratitude, a download I received recently is that the 5 steps to activate abundance parallel the 5 love languages. Gratitude is all about quality time. Because I'm really grateful that you two take the time to do your show every week, to be there for people every week. That shows a level of dedication and kindness and compassion that is much greater than the majority of the population. So kudos to you. Gratitude is quality time.
I know you're going to get to the other 4. And I was like,
I will eventually.
Yeah. I'm like, keep going. But okay,
I don't want to hog the conversation.
No, this is beautiful. I love it. The idea of gratitude, so I do want to go back to that thought. What if you're not in an empowered state? What if you look forward and you are feeling fear and uncertainty and you're having a hard time letting go? And it's the abundance is all around you, but you're having a hard time seeing it. What would you share with somebody? And gratitude is one of those tools that we use in the first 6 journeys because it is an elevating tool. It elevates the chemicals in the body. It elevates the viewpoint, the mood, everything. It's powerful. But for you, what do you advise people? What do you share with people when they're kind of stuck in that loop of, I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm kind of at the end of the rope over here, right? I've done all I can think of over here, and things feel like they're going to fall apart. Right.
Right.
But I need to move over. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So here's what's really going on behind the scenes that you didn't realize. Have you ever been at a counter and somebody is not there, but there's that bell on the counter and you're supposed to go ding, and then they hear it and they'll come and serve you?
Yeah.
So whenever you experience that stuck feeling, or you don't know what's next, or you watch a news show and it freaks you out and you're like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. That war is just freaking me out. Anytime you feel resistance, that is the divine, the God of your understanding, tapping that bell, going, sweetie, time to get your attention. This is the moment we expect you to step up and be loving towards yourself and loving towards others and anybody impacted by this situation. This is your wake-up call. We're trying to get your attention. And it's really interesting. All the research shows it takes about 10 times to get your attention and get you to actually take action on something. So if you feel like, man, the stuff just keeps hitting the fan over and over. Well, yeah, because they're trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
They're trying to say, yeah, okay, snap out of it, sweetie. You need to approach this in a different way. What could you be grateful for in this moment? We're trying to get you to change and do something a little bit differently.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's you're going down a pathway that you think is going to be the pathway. You don't want to let go because you put all this energy into it. It's that sunk cost fallacy of, I put all this energy into this pathway. We talked about it. I'm watching these shows on gold, the gold rush, right? Where they go out and they dig. Well, you could dig dirt, pan that gold, not find any gold, but think there's gold there, and dig to the center of the earth and never find gold. But you would spend all of your resources thinking that that's the spot you need to be, and not shift directions and try some other spot. Right. And I think, when I look at what we've done with the Giants, when we started this journey, I started back in 2009. I didn't see this today. I didn't see this show or anything else. And then when Ryan and I started working together, it was, we had all these plans. We would go to Beans and Brews and plan out, we're going to do this and this and this. And not one of those things came to be. Like we would go down a path and feel the frustration. And it was like, you need to step back, and we would redirect our energy. And that's where everything you see today has come from, is that redirection of energy. Right.
Yeah. Because the divine can't steer a parked car. So they want you to be in action. They want you to be striving towards your intention. And that's where I was saying it all starts with your intention. How do you want to feel, and what do you want to create in the world that will empower others? So what is that intention? Start with the intention and then brainstorm different things that you could do that would support that intention. And then you focus your attention with the 5 steps to activate abundance. That's how everything comes together. And through that process, you become so magnetic and so compelling because you're using all 5 love languages in every conversation with yourself, as well as conversation with others. It makes you magnetic, and the divine is able to show you new opportunities, new potential, new ways that you could be refocusing your efforts. And it's kind of like you don't know it, but you're running a 3-legged race with the divine. It's not like the divine's up here and you're this lowly little ant. No, 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 no. You are actually an active partner with the divine, helping to expand the divine, and the divine wants you to be successful. But if you think you're all on your own making this happen, you're dragging the divine behind you as you run this race. And I experience the divine as effervescent joy, just over the top, outrageous, silly, ridiculous, funny, having a great time. And they're constantly trying to get me to lighten up, that I'm just too serious. And they're like, this is supposed to be fun. This is really supposed to be a great time. So if you're not having a good time, ding, hello, anybody home? We're right here. We'll help you out. But we can't do anything without your permission and you inviting us in.
I feel like this is an infomercial. Like, Elaine, when are you going to get to the next 4 steps so that we can see what this is all about? Right? You've given us number 1, and now we need the next 4. Like,
no problem. I'm more than happy to go there with you. Okay, so step 1 is gratitude.
Yeah.
It's really important to show up with gratitude in any conversation that you're having, including conversations with yourself. And how often do you forget to be grateful for yourself and who you are and the talents that you bring? Really important.
Yeah.
Step 2 is to acknowledge something you just heard that was an aha for you, a little light bulb moment. It could be something you're really familiar with, but maybe you just see it in a slightly different way. That can happen in an instant. So be tuned in. What's an insight for you? Maybe even the fact that you could be grateful for anything, and it doesn't have to pertain to your business to count, right? So often we put this silo on and we're like, yeah, but this isn't working. So what? Look at something else in your life that is working and get grateful for that. Okay. So step 1 is gratitude. Step 2 is acknowledge something that's an aha for you. Step 3 is to appreciate the difference it could make in your life if you were to apply it. Because sometimes we look at it and go, wow, that's so cool. And then we totally forget about it. We don't do anything with it, right?
Yeah.
How often have we done that? It's called the process of learning. We have to repeat things.
That word right there, appreciate, is to increase the value of that thing, right?
Yes.
Increase the value of that.
Absolutely. And by going into detail about the difference it could make in your life, it's amazing what happens. So gratitude is quality time as the love language. Acknowledging something that's an aha for you is a surprise because no 2 people interpret things the same way, right? So I could be I had an experience like this where I was presenting 2 different bits of research. And the first one was just kind of the setup. And the second one was the meat and potatoes. And I mentioned the first one, and the person I was talking to was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And we could not move on from there because that was what she was so anchored into. So you don't know. It's always a surprise when you acknowledge something that's an aha for you. It's always a surprise for the other person. And it's really enriching when you appreciate the difference it could make in your life. Those are words of affirmation. That's when you're saying, this is why what you just did, you showing up as you, is so incredibly valuable to me, right? That's powerful. Step 4 is to activate abundance. And there are 2 different ways that you activate abundance. You pull out your calendar and you schedule it, or you create an anchor. So maybe this is going to remind me to show up with gratitude at all times. So it can be a physical reminder for you, or you actually schedule it on your calendar. And when you tell people that you're doing this and they see you taking action, you're activating the mirror neurons that are in your brain right behind your eyebrows. And that means they experience a sensation as if they were doing it, and they're not. So it's the done for you language. That's the love language, is doing things for people. Is when you activate abundance, you're doing things for people. And then step 5 is to celebrate your progress. And that love language is physical touch. High five, give them a hug. You know, there's so many different ways that we can acknowledge our progress. And that makes all the difference. So those are the 5 steps.
I love it. So the internal world is what is happening here. Is you think about high-fiving other people, but high-fiving yourself, like celebrating yourself. Like we don't do that stuff usually. We get
Don't.
self-conscious. We don't want others to look at us, but we literally could, you know, I don't know if you've seen the lady that does the prancercising and she just dances down the road, right? You could do
Yes.
stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
celebrate your wins, right? Give
Yeah.
yourself a high five. Talk to yourself. I talk to myself. Whenever I have a part that comes up and I'm struggling, I'll have a conversation with it. It's like, hey, what's up? Like, you know, my kids came into the room and I'm having a conversation with them. I'll do that with these inner parts that are feeling insecure, feeling, you know, unworthy, or, you know, the things that are getting in the way of me seeing abundance. And we'll talk, and I'll talk out loud. And if anybody was around watching me, they'd go, this guy's losing his mind, right?
It's another way to tap into the divine, because the divine is speaking through you.
That's how I justify it, Ryan, is like, yeah, see, it's okay to not be okay.
How weird.
You know what it reminds me of is Braveheart, when he's like, yeah, I was talking to God and I think I'm going to be okay, but you're pretty well fucked, right? He's like,
It's my island.
It's my island. Yeah. That's me talking to me, right? But it's so important, because when I get into that state, let me just talk about me. I won't talk about everybody because I don't know their experience fully. But when I get into that state and I have a triggering thought or an event outside of me, and then I start thinking about that thought, and then the feelings come up, and some of those feelings are heavy, and they cause me to lose my power. And then I get spun up in this cycle of overthinking, and then also judging myself and justifying myself for where I'm at, which keeps the thoughts going, the emotions going, and all this stuff, right? When I can slow down with that, like every morning I have a ritual and routine to just sit and journal with that, is to give voice to that. Like you said, the acknowledgement of it, the acknowledging the good, which is gratitude, acknowledging the good in your world, but also acknowledging, giving voice to what you're creating. But you can do that with your feelings, to give voice to or acknowledge there's fear, or there's anxiety, or there's depression or sadness or anything else. And then to identify the thoughts that are generating that emotion. And then to go to the part of you that's generating those thoughts and talk to that part. That's what I'm talking about, is how do we have a dialogue and give voice to that part so it can express what's going on. And then when you can do that, then you can go up the chain, like you said, express gratitude and acknowledge and appreciate, and you know, go through these steps and really elevate and activate the abundance, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't
that
slow
contrast
down,
is important.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, the contrast that you were just describing is really important. You're supposed to go through those different stages, right?
Yeah.
Where you don't know what you don't know, but you know there's got to be something different than this.
Yeah.
Right? And you're supposed to go through that so that you will make a commitment to, what is my intention? What do I really want to create here? How do I want to feel? And how do I want to empower others? What is that commitment? And when I can recommit to that, then I've got a destination. Then I can start to make things happen. And in conjunction with the divine, I'm in full partnership with the divine. So that makes all the difference when you realize I'm not alone. This is not all on me. That's me making up a story in my head that it's all on me to figure this out. Oh no. No, it's not. You're in partnership with the divine.
But if you start talking to the divine and you're like, you owe me. Like, I know you have all this abundance and you owe me, right? Like, if you could imagine, you go up to a person in this world and you're like, I know you're rich and I deserve it, right? And I don't know if you know who I am, but, you know, quote unquote, I'm a child of God and I'm entitled to everything you have here. So you owe me, right? I could imagine the response from them, right? One, you need to get out of my face for a minute because you're really kind of agitating me here. And two, you're not entitled to it. Now it is available to you, but you're not entitled to it. Is there a way to talk with the divine, the universe, God, where you're mindful of, look, I'm aware you have resources. I could use some support. Would you be able to fill in the gaps where maybe I can't, right? Versus I'm entitled. Does that make sense?
So it totally makes sense. And I get where you're coming from. And as soon as you said that and you gave that example, I heard laughter.
Okay.
The divine was just laughing their butts off. They're like, oh, yeah, right. That's not quite how it works.
Okay,
Because you are the abundance you're looking for.
Amazing.
That's the big irony. You are the abundance you're looking for.
So we're going outside trying to get it, but
Yes.
really it's right in here
It's
the whole time. So
inside,
that's why they're laughing. That makes sense. They're like, that's cute.
You don't get this, do ya? Which planet are you on, sweetie? Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad that they have a sense of humor.
Oh my gosh, an outrageous sense of humor. They laugh at me all the time.
Okay,
all the time. Yeah. Yeah, it's really funny. So I would go back to intention. And so you might think of an intention as almost like a prayer. So I have a specific way that I structure my intention. I always start with in love and light. Because to me, in love and light is acknowledging that the divine, the God of your understanding, is an active participant in making your intention happen. And then I put my intention, whatever it is I want to create. In love and light, we hold the intention that this conversation is going to be fun, dynamic, ridiculous, outrageous. We're going to make people laugh. We're going to make people think, and we're all going to be better for it. And then I close it with gratitude. Thank you, divine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It sends a very clear signal. This is where I'm going. This is what I want to create. This is how I want people to feel. And it focuses my attention. That's everything that I'm doing is to make that happen. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. That attention becomes a commitment to be that, right? That attention you give to it is a demonstration of your commitment. Because and this has been my practice. So I'm not going to say like I don't do this anymore, because I definitely do this still, right? But I used to make these commitments or promises. I'm going to do this, right? And then it would be, I wouldn't do that. In my book, The Art of Accomplishment, I call it change to promise versus promising to change, right? And you make these promises, and you're promising like the world's going to be different. I'm going to do this, and it's going to be awesome, and you're going to love it. And then it doesn't, because you never really put the attention into it or the commitment into it to really make that promise an actual thing. And so I worked instead from, and I still work from the space of, if I make a commitment to somebody, I am my word, which my attention goes into being my word. And when I'm not my word, I have something to realign with. Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I could not have put it better. Yeah. Okay. That's great.
Well, thank you. But if you could put it better, what else would you add to that?
You know, again, your emotions are there as like, imagine that your body is this huge resounding resonance board. It's almost like a speaker, and you're getting information from your environment that hits up against your speaker. And we get these physical sensations in our body, and then our minds put a label on it that is an emotion. Well, our body has the exact same response to anxiety and eager anticipation. Exact same response, same sweaty hands, same churning tummy, exactly the same. So it's up to our minds to decide what is that sensation. And generally the mistake is, do I have control or do I not have control? Well, if you're about to go on an awesome roller coaster and you love roller coasters, don't need to control that. I just need to get in the seat and I'm going to have a great time. Right? Right? I don't have to design it. I don't have to build it. I can just enjoy it. And so many people forget that they can just enjoy their life. In every moment, heaven and hell are present for you. In every moment, they're both there at the exact same time. What you experience is your choice.
That goes into the Henry Ford quote of whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Whether you think it's heaven or hell, you're right. Right. We are the interpreters, the observers. I think of quantum physics here.
Yes.
Right. The observer effect with the slit experiment, double slit, right, is what they did, where they fired photons through, and they were waves until they were observed and they became particles. Right. And the moment they were observed, they became particles. It's Schrodinger's cat, where the cat is both alive and dead in the box, but it's the observer that determines the outcome when they open the box. So that idea of heaven and hell are both in front of you, and you, the observer, determine which one locks into reality, right? Is this accurate? Like, you are the one that decides the meaning or gives meaning to whatever is occurring in your world.
Absolutely. And then you react to the meaning that you give it.
Right.
And so that's why
What
I
a
had the
paradox,
choice.
right?
I
Yeah.
had the choice of this guy's a jerk for honking at me,
Uh,
or thank heaven this guy had enough on the ball to do that loving gesture of honking at me to save me from a terrible accident and an extended period of time waiting for a tow truck.
yeah.
That is up to me. I get to choose the meaning, and I will react accordingly. Because our emotions, man, we can just ruminate on things for
Yeah.
freaking years. We're so good at that and tie ourselves in knots. And if that doesn't move you forward and make you feel empowered, that's one of the fastest ways to identify if you're wasting your time or not. If it makes you feel small and contracted, then that's just your mind making up a story that is not true. It is not true. If it's something that feels expansive and opening and filled with possibility and joy, potential, that is true. That is your truth.
Lisa Feldman Barrett, one of the top researchers on emotion, right, says that emotions are not reactions to the world. They are our creations of the world. They are what we make the world mean and their responses to that, right? So going into this idea of we're reacting to the meaning we gave is exactly that, is our body is responding to the meaning that we gave. And then we spin ourselves up in the meaning that we gave and the emotions that resulted from that. And then we act or don't act based on that, which goes back to us being the ones that created the whole situation in the first place, right?
How ironic is that?
Yeah, what a
How
paradox.
ironic is that? Yeah.
And
And it was so funny because that message that I got from the divine, that love is the blood of the divine, the thing you have to realize is you are the beating heart of the divine. You are pushing and pulling love through the divine. You are creating more love based on how you show up and how you respond to the situations you encounter. And that's all on you in terms of how you interpret your experience, knowing that it's all designed to be love for you, that it's all designed to be abundance for you, that somehow there is a blessing in this for you. There are 3 different blessings that I always encourage people to look for because it makes all the difference in the world. Do you mind if I share what those 3 things are?
No, yeah, please don't. No, I'm just kidding.
So 3 blessings. First of all, perspective.
Yeah.
Can you get a new perspective or a new insight on something that you didn't know before? So perspective is the first blessing. The second blessing is you get to practice something. Like maybe you get to practice being fully present. Maybe you get to practice leaning in with love and being open and receptive to what people are saying instead of trying to defend and control the situation. Are you open and receptive? That's really important. So the second thing is practice. The third thing is progress. Notice your progress. Notice your improvement. Notice the baby steps, because that's how everything happens to begin with.
Yeah. You know, it's Stephen McGee calls it school is in session or university has started. And it's almost like you're going down this road and you think I've signed up for university, but that's not the school I chose. But it is the school that you chose because you put yourself into that position where you could grow and learn. The challenge with growth is that it can be really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like to grow muscles, you've got to tear the muscles, right? And it hurts. But then when you gain that strength, you really never return to where you were before. There's that muscle memory that's there forever. You gain it forever, right? And so that growth is really uncomfortable. Even words like passion, where it's a willingness to suffer for something, right? We talk about, oh, you got to be passionate about it, not realizing that we're talking about suffering here, right? We're talking about pain here. Like you're going to tear your muscles a little bit for your own growth, but you're choosing into it, right? It's different from the suffering that we talk about where you didn't choose into it. It's non-passionate. The phrase that keeps coming to mind is love making, like we're love makers, like we make things from love, you know. And so to twist that meaning a little bit is that we make things that are already given to us from what was already given to us. And it's up to us to step into that space where we can be those love makers. I don't know if that's a phrase that really fits.
I totally get what you're saying. And I want to speak to your concept about pain again, because you can go into it just saying, okay, I know this is going to be painful. I know this is going to hurt. But have you ever gone to the gym and done a workout You know you're going to challenge your body.
Yeah. Yep.
You know that you're going to get out of breath. You know you're probably going to sweat. If you're doing it right, you're probably going to sweat.
Right.
You're probably going to get out of breath. You know, you hopefully you feel those tummy muscles tomorrow. That's a sign that you actually did something.
Right.
So yes, there may be discomfort.
Yeah.
But there is at the same time awareness of growth in the discomfort. I'm honoring my intention for my health and well-being. I'm so proud of myself for challenging myself and doing an extra mile on the treadmill today. Go me. Yes, it is discomfort in the moment. And it is a joyous discomfort because of the growth and my focus on the growth and honoring my intention.
And we love to talk about it. I am so sore, right? We tell all our friends, I'm so sore. I went to the gym yesterday and my lats are out, right? Like, I'm so sore.
This is what victory looks like, right? This is a sign of my success, is that I put myself through this and I'm stronger and better for it. And I know that before the final result shows up, because maybe I don't have the muscles right where I want them yet. Maybe I haven't lost all the weight that I want to lose yet, but it's not about that final destination. It's about taking those actions that contribute to my intention and keeping my focus on that commitment that I have and praising myself, being so honored. There's a wonderful expression that the British use that I absolutely adore. They say, I'm well chuffed. And that means I'm so proud of myself. I'm, good on me. I'm well chuffed. And you need to be well chuffed about yourself. You need to honor yourself and what you're doing and striving towards, because you don't see the final destination. There's no way you could, because the divine has such a bigger picture for you than you could ever imagine. So rejoice in your progress, rejoice in what you are doing and your commitment to your intention.
Yeah, man, this is incredible, because it's like every time I get into a space energetically where I feel defeated, frustrated, despairing, doubtful, right? These still come up in me. And I think for most humans, you're going to have that throughout life where you experience these things. But what it does, it's ding, right? It's like, okay, so when we teach in the 12 journeys, when we teach the journey of grief, we talk about depression as a useful tool, because it has you resign from what's happening, right? It has you pull back, it has you really reflect on what's happening. It has you see reality as it is, not as you're deluded to think it is, right? And people, they say that people are happiest when they're in their delusion, right? But reality, if you look at most comedians that are just funny and they say things as they are, they're pretty depressed, right? A lot of them. And so it's because they see reality as it is. But if you can take that reality and reflect on it and have reverence and respect for what it's trying to teach you, the dinging of the bell, then you can re-engage with it in a new way. And that's called resilience, right? So all of those 5 things together create resilience. And the faster you can move through that, the more resilient you become. And a lot of our greatest ideas have come from that discomfort of failure. And the languaging of the word failure, right, is a negative yield from our efforts. That's all it is. So if we spoke failure as simply, I didn't get the yield I wanted, right, then it becomes an adjustment to that. If success is a positive yield, failure is just a negative yield. That's all it is like what you did didn't work. So it causes you to pull back and reflect and see reality as it is and acknowledge this is what happened. And then recognize the positive that came out of that, readjust and get back out there. Right.
Yeah. As you were talking, I got this download. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. And if you think about your life as if you're playing a game of warmer and colder, right? Have you ever played that game, Warmer and Colder, where somebody is trying to guide you to something in the room and you don't know where it is? And they're like, oh, no, you're getting colder. Yeah, so you're further away from it. Oh, you're getting warmer. You're red hot. You're right on it. It's a game of warmer and colder. And we're playing a game with ourselves and with the divine at the same time.
Yeah.
And we can choose to go colder and colder and colder and go, wow, that's really not serving me. It's time for me to shift into something that starts to feel warmer and warmer.
Yeah.
And that's a choice. Life is a choice. Your superpower is choice.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That can you create a distinction here? Two
Sure.
words. Okay. Decision versus choice.
Oh, wow.
Did I put you on the spot there?
Yeah, because I view them as very similar.
Okay.
Your choice is a decision that you've made,
Okay.
and it's a commitment. To me, choice has commitment wrapped into it
Yep.
at the same time. And one of the biggest challenges that we have is sometimes our choices are knee jerk, right? It's that human response. I can't control that. I'm going to try to control it. I'm going to give it meaning that's significant to me without being open and receptive and willing to uncover these hidden blessings, these hidden meanings that are there for us, that are guiding us to what we truly want to accomplish. So to me, decision and choice are pretty much the same thing as long as commitment is wrapped in there.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a spin on this a little bit,
Go for
because
it.
I think it'll serve. And I love the idea of choice being a commitment, which is forward moving, right?
Yes.
And decision, from the Latin decidere, is to cut off. So essentially, it's still a choice. It's a decision, but it's cutting off, right? It's almost like
To a degree, it's kind of like you're going to New York City, so you've cut off going to Miami.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't really want to go to Miami. You're trying to go to New York.
Commitment, right?
Right.
It's like I'm all in for New York.
Right.
I'm not like halfway to New York and Miami. I can't do the splits that well.
And if it's accidentally happened and you were on a flight that was supposed to go to New York and it accidentally goes to Miami, you're not the happy camper that you could have been, right?
That's a great spin. Yeah. Yeah. Great spin. Because it's a cutting off of one choice over another. It's a commitment to one over the other. Right?
Yes.
I'm not going there, I'm going here. And it's a movement of your commitment, your intention, your attention to that thing that you've chosen. Right? That's the power that I hear in that, is you've chosen it. And so now the decision is cutting off anything else that's not what you've chosen.
It's about maintaining that attention. There you go.
Yeah.
Australia. Right.
Yes.
Which is beautiful. And I highly recommend that you visit, but do that intentionally, not accidentally.
Yeah.
Decision.
Why have I been on the plane for 14 hours? Flight attendant. This is a refreshing and powerful conversation. Right now in my life, there are big changes. Ryan's life too, big things that are happening, and it pushes you into really seeing reality as it is, and your role within that reality, and what you're going to do next with whatever's going on. And it's beautiful timing on this. I mean, it's refreshing to me to hear this, especially where I'm at right now. And even though we teach the 12 journeys, it's like we're constantly working on the 12 journeys. It's like when we talk about becoming a giant versus a small, it's not like you're never going to feel small. It's like you have a whole community, a whole nation of smalls living within you, and you got to address every one of them and bring them up to giant, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a constant journey. There are times where you're giant in one area and you're feeling small in another. And so you sit with that small part and you bring it up, right?
Yeah.
And
I talk about it slightly differently.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because to me, there is no limit to love. There's no limit to love. And you're here to create more love. You're here to lean into whatever challenge you're dealing with love. And welcome in how you grow and how you expand and become because of the challenge that you're dealing with and how you're responding to it.
Yeah.
So there is no limit to love. You shed an old skin. When you hit one of those barriers, it's time for you to learn and grow. That is, hey, honey, you're ready for a growth spurt. That's all that is.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You're ready to expand. We're so proud of you. We're so happy about you. We're ready for the next step. You reached grade 2. Let's go to grade 3, right? You're ready to graduate. That's not an ending. It's not blaming you. It's not beating you up for being stuck where you are. You're allowed to be where you are for as long as you want to be there. And the intention is to ring that bell, get your attention back on love for yourself and love for others.
Yeah. That is cool. This is a
It
great
is cool.
conversation.
It's
Yeah.
so fun. It's so fun. When you understand how this really works, you're like,
Yeah.
dang, this is cool.
Yeah. I mean,
It's irritating. It's
it is
irritating on occasion,
irritating.
but
Like,
it's cool.
who the hell designed this? Like, come on, man. Like these growing pains.
Can you say that about the divine's plan? Who the hell designed
Absolutely.
this?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What
And
you're
they're
laughing at.
laughing their butts off. Absolutely.
They
Yeah. This
better
is what
be,
it looks
because,
like when
this
it's
is
working.
crazy. Like what
Yeah.
they put together. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially when you don't know why things happen the way they do.
Yeah.
And that's why I really wanted to share the abundance journey with people. That's why I've written my book, Your 5 Steps to Activate Your Abundance.
Yeah.
And it's so important for people to understand how the game is played. Because if you think you're playing Twister and the game is actually bridge, people are looking at you going, well, I think that's a heart. Maybe. I don't know. Right?
Grandma played bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. Grandma's not so good at Twister. So, yeah. A little fragile there. But yeah, the game you're playing, right? Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
I just
Yeah.
it's funny. I just like all of a sudden stopped everything and started picturing like an old person or even me playing Twister versus my grandma kicking my butt at bridge.
Right.
Yeah. If you don't know the game, yeah.
Yeah. It's rather confusing and frustrating when you have no clue what's really going on. So understanding that when you feel stuck, when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel frustrated, that's just the divine going, ding, wake up call. Hello, you're ready to grow.
Yeah. And sometimes it's other people, like divine uses other people to create that ding, right?
Yes.
Holy crap. And then you want to blame them, right? And it's like, nah, you needed this wake up call. You needed it. And it took them to give it to you. So you're blaming them for something you needed to get anyway. So wake up, right? And if that's how I need to get you to wake up, I'm going to get you to wake up, right?
It's all a collaborative experience. Everything is designed to help you grow and to help you create more love and to help you experience more abundance. And you learn how to experience the abundance of you being you in the world. And it's so hard for you to see the blessing that you are. It's so hard for you to see your own skills, abilities, attributes, because we're trained to just, deny everything. We've got a fan there. Rebecca's all about the ding.
Yeah, the ding, right? We have great tribe members. So our tribe of giants, Beck is in Melbourne, Australia, and she's one of our community developers and just an incredible human. But she's been through our programs, and for some reason she sticks around, right? We put 3 people through some crap and they stick around. We're like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's right with you actually is because they're committed to growth. And we're all about finding ways. Like this interview is another way for us to really explore and help our community to see, look, you already have it in you. You're designed to be this.
Yes.
So there's no going out and getting. It's like a fish saying, you know what, mom and dad, not Nemo. This isn't Nemo. I'm going on a journey to discover water. And mom and dad are like, what the hell are you talking about? Right?
Hey, the problem is mom and dad don't know where the water is either, right? And you're all swimming in it together and nobody has a clue where it is.
They're just
right? That's what's so ironic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of imagine that's like the conversation like any divine individual is having. Like they're just watching us and they're like, they're in the freaking water. Like, what are they doing?
Exactly.
This is hilarious.
It's almost like if you've ever watched a game on TV and maybe you're in the stand, or imagine that you're one of the players on the field and you've got the ball and you're running for the touchdown. Well, the divine is all around you in the stadium. Go, you got this. Come on, you're almost there. Swerve a little bit, weave a little bit. Okay, you got this. Come on. Oh man, 2 inches from the touchdown, right? But they never give up on you. It's not like you've done something wrong or there's something bad about you. It's about the journey.
Yeah.
It's about being willing to embrace the challenges and move through it.
Okay. So yesterday, a couple of days ago, one of the girls that we work with shared a treasure hunt right, that's going on in Utah. There's a treasure with $25,000 buried somewhere in a case here in Utah. And so I took my daughter out and we went exploring. I'm like, I know where this is, right? So we drive 45 minutes from here, go out into the mountains, right, and are driving down this road. And there's this persistent thought of don't stop yet, right? And we didn't find it. Just, I would love to say like, oh, we found it. Yes, but what was so fun is that my daughter, who's 13, is like, I love this, Dad. You're totally right. We got this. We know there. Where else could it be, right? And
so you did find the gold. You did find the gold.
Yes, yeah.
Because the gold was in having that moment with your daughter and having that bonding experience.
Yeah.
It's not about anything other than enjoying the experience.
Worth way more than that money. And
she'll never forget it.
To find that too. So
yeah, she'll never forget it.
She will never forget that. Remember that time, Ava, that we went and looked for a treasure, and she'll never forget that. Right? Yeah. Just like,
and especially when you say, I was driving with my treasure, with my biggest treasure.
Beautiful.
Because that's the truth.
Yeah.
Sorry. It just, sometimes love is so expansive and so huge that it just has to find a way to burst out of your body. And sometimes tears are an expression that is beyond joy. You are so blessed in your daughter. And I saw what a beautiful relationship you have. And just make sure that after this conversation, you call her and you say, honey, I got this huge insight that I was driving in that car with you yesterday, and the gold I was looking for was in your seat.
I'll do that. She's here today.
Good.
So I will tell her that.
Tell her.
I will tell her that. Well, damn it. We weren't supposed to cry.
Sorry. Sorry. Had to go there.
Oh, that's good.
Is there anything else you'd want to share? Like, what's the legacy, the gift that you're giving to the world? I mean, I've heard it. So like, but is there anything else you want to share before we wrap up this conversation?
You are a blessing and you are blessed. You are amazing in what you're doing in the world. You just being you makes all the difference in the world, because it starts with your energy. Just noticing something that you don't like in the world and sending love and blessings, that is one of the most powerful things you can do. You don't have to pick up the phone and call somebody. You don't have to send money. You don't have to fix something. You have to send your energy, your love, your gratitude that the divine is ready to help fix this situation for these people. Just send love and blessings and you will change the world.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Ryan, do you have final thoughts here?
I swear, I know this is true. I know what you're saying is true. It rings true. It feels good.
You feel it.
We had the emotions there at the end. Like, Elaine, I just want to give you thanks for having a stroke and being in that moment. You're forced to be present with the divine, even though you're peeking behind the door, and then holding onto those things, and then giving the divine more voice and sharing it with other people, because you could very easily have been like, what happened, and just never talk about it.
That's where I started. Yeah.
Because there would be a lot of people that would be like, she's crazy. I'm super grateful that you did decide. You made that
a
choice and the decision,
a commitment. Yes.
And the commitment to fly here today with us and to share this message, because it was timely. And I'm telling you, I know it's true, because God, the universe, all of the divine are watching, and they care about what's happening in Ryan's life, and they care about what's happening in Nick's life, and they care about what's happening in Elaine's life and everyone's life.
Absolutely.
they want us to know and to feel and to have these experiences because they know it's for our ultimate betterment. That's the word to
Absolutely.
use.
And
So
you
thank
have
you.
been physical many times in the past. You will be physical many times in the future because this is the rock star space to be. You are actively helping collaborate with the divine and create the divine. I mean, this is the sweet spot, baby. That doesn't mean it's easy. It's not supposed to be easy, but it is amazing.
Yeah, this is powerful. For those that are watching, you know, as we wrap up here, go back and watch this a few times. I know I'm going to, because there's some things that I was here for the conversation, but I know I missed them. And so for me, it's this will be one that I put on repeat and listen to again. Share this with somebody in your world that might be struggling with their current situation, right? They might be looking at their situation, feeling hopeless, despair. This would be a perfect video for them. Share this with them. It's available on our YouTube channel right now. Like as soon as we're done, you can grab it and share it. It's on Facebook. It's in the Tribe of Giants. Come join us in the Tribe of Giants because that's where we broadcast to the world. We have a great community there. We're growing it. We could use a lot more giants in there like you. So make sure you come join us in the Tribe of Giants on Facebook. And Elaine, just thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today. Thank you for being so present with us and sharing your personality and your take on this. I feel enlivened by the conversation. And you know, here's, you know, just a final thought here is everybody's out there maybe searching for their giant or the way they can become a giant out here, but the giant is already in you. It's the acorn to the oak. It's already in there. So the more we can just sit with, you're already there, add things like this conversation to what's already there and watch, right? It'll shift. These shows wouldn't be what they are without our community. So the comments that come through, we're so grateful for you and what you share here. It enlivens the conversation. It makes it fun, interactive. So thank you for being a part of this. We have people that show up every single Sunday for these shows, every show. And thank you for being a part of this journey. So we love you. Go make it a giant day. We will see you in the next video. And Ryan, anything else from there? Oh, unmute and say it.
Love you too.
Awesome.